Hi, and welcome to the course, Healthier with Natural Medicine in 9 Steps, How to Use Natural or Functional Medicine to Remedy Chronic Illness and Maintain Optimal Health. I am proposing a process of getting healthier with natural medicine, and I want to show you how you can use this process to remedy chronic illness, or at the very least, improve a chronic health condition. If you have a chronic illness or health condition, it is very likely that natural medicine will help you tremendously. If you are relatively healthy now, then it is very likely that natural medicine can improve your health beyond your expectations so that you enjoy optimal health and energy levels for a long time to come. The point here is that given the right conditions, or given what it needs, our body has a tremendous ability to heal and regenerate itself. You may have heard my podcast, The Self-Rejuvenating Body. That's what the podcast is all about. And what do I mean by, quote, natural medicine? In a sense, natural medicine is anything other than drugs, radiation, and surgery. But when I say natural medicine, I'm actually referring to what is now being called functional medicine. Functional medicine is a discipline that has evolved over the past 35 years that uses natural medicine to remedy the root causes of illness. I'll talk more about functional medicine in a moment, but let me first address the two issues that face many clients or patients today. Here's the first issue. It's figuring out what's going on. Patients are now being put in a position of trying to figure out what is going on with their own health. So many people are, in a sense, trying to learn all that they can about an illness or health condition and be their own doctor, or the doctor of a family member or friend. What I see happening a lot is that patients come out of a medical setting where the focus is on diagnosing a disease, and they have seen their doctor and the labs that are done turn up normal, and the patient is told that there is nothing wrong. It's often also insinuated that feeling unwell is just part of getting old, and that there is nothing that really can be done, that one has to just sort of accept feeling unhealthy. Or a patient may have been diagnosed with a chronic illness, but feels the medical solution is not working to their satisfaction. Often the drugs have side effects that are unpleasant, and people want to get off the drugs. So then people start looking into natural medicine and start learning about the different causes of chronic illness and about underlying conditions that may not be recognized as disease states, but that nevertheless are signs of deteriorating health. We hear about hormone imbalances, chronic inflammation, food sensitivities, adrenal fatigue, chronic infections and biofilms, leaky gut, damage to mitochondria. And for the patient who is just trying to heal themselves, it becomes overwhelming. You're being put in a position of having to try and be your own doctor without the training. And how do you really figure out what's going on? You have a feeling that natural medicine could help you, but where do you start? The second issue revolves around all of the things that are available in natural medicine. We just asked, where do you start? Here are just some of the things that you'll hear in natural medicine: infrared therapy, detoxification, fasting, Reiki, alkaline pH, probiotics, paleo, supplements, energy healing, and so forth. Should you detoxify? And if so, should you do a gallbladder flush, a colon cleanse, a metabolic detox, or should you do infrared therapy? How long should you do them? Should you do them all at the same time or one after the other? And if it's one after the other, which one should you do first? Or maybe you just need to change your diet. But if you change your diet, Do you need to do some testing for food sensitivities first? The point is, it can all be very confusing. The confusion arises out of not understanding how the body works, how our different organs and organ systems work during health and disease, and what one needs to do to remedy the underlying causes of conditions with natural medicine. That's why it's useful to use a doctor who is trained in natural medicine to show you what to do. Let me introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my background so that you can feel like you're in the right place where you can get some help, the help that you need. My interest in health began in college at Stanford, where I majored in human biology. After graduating in 1973, I worked on the cancer and general medicine wards at Stanford as an orderly for several years at the medical center. I was in the trenches caring for patients with critical conditions, and at the same time, on the outside, in my spare time, I began learning about alternative medicine and healing. This was back in the early 1970s. I learned energy healing in the form of Reiki and went to the Philippines on several occasions to visit the, quote, psychic surgeons. I experienced acupuncture for the first time. I also studied yoga and meditation quite intensely. Eventually, I became convinced that my place was not in traditional medicine, but in alternative medicine. So in 1982, I started chiropractic college at the Northwestern Health Sciences University. As a quick aside, so that you have confidence in my training and skills, here's a chart comparing the core curriculum in chiropractic college versus medical college. What you'll notice is that the number of hours are roughly equivalent, but the focus is slightly different. The point that I want to make here is that chiropractors and I am well trained in basic medical sciences. I graduated from chiropractic college in 1986 after 4 years with a doctorate in chiropractic and certification to practice acupuncture. And the same year, I opened my clinic in the Minneapolis suburb of Minnetonka. In practice, I focused on holistic treatments, particularly nutrition and energy medicine, and also acupuncture. My postgraduate study focused on the newly evolving field of functional medicine. Over the years 1999, 2000, and 2001, I completed the curriculum towards a diplomate in nutrition. For the past 34 years, I've focused on holistic treatment of various health conditions, including stress fatigue, hypothyroidism, weight loss resistance, toxicity syndromes, and also autoimmune conditions. In the mid-1980s, when I began my clinical practice, there was actually no name for what many of us were doing at the time. Today, we call it, quote, functional medicine. I'd like to say just a little bit about functional medicine. Dr. Jeff Bland is a nutritional biochemist who is considered by many to be the father of functional medicine. From the mid-1980s through the 90s and 2000s, and to the present, Dr. Bland has lectured on nutritional biochemistry to doctors. I first attended one of Dr. Bland's day-long presentations in the mid-1980s here in Minneapolis. The volume of information that Dr. Bland presented was like being forced to drink from a garden hose. The seminar notes were over 100 pages in a 8.5 by 11 binder full of research and references. Dr. Bland presented the latest nutritional research and showed its clinical applications, so you could call what he was doing a sort of clinical nutrition. But it was bigger than that. At one point, on one of these seminar weekends, Dr. Bland was sitting having lunch with an acquaintance of mine, and they were brainstorming, trying to come up with a name for this new field that they were promoting, this clinical nutrition field that used an understanding of the foundational nutritional principles and knowledge to build health. And the story goes that someone at the table said, well, it's using nutrition as medicine. And another person said, yeah, it's changing biochemical functioning with specific nutrients. And it was at that moment that the term functional medicine was born. It's medicine using nutrition and using nutrients to change biochemistry functioning within the body. And more than that now, it's also using lifestyle. So things like exercise and sleep and all of the many things that are embraced by natural medicine at this point. Dr. Bland went on to form the Institute of Functional Medicine in the 1980s, and he's still a big voice in the functional medicine community, in the natural medicine community today. And I will essentially be using these concepts or these foundational understandings of functional medicine throughout this course. Natural medicine gets results. Over the past 36 years, I've helped many patients recover from debilitating fatigue and deteriorating health, a whole slew of different health conditions. And I just want to give you some cases that demonstrate the benefit that comes from really implementing natural health. On the left is a patient, Sarah. Sarah was referred by a psychologist to me. She had seen the psychologist for severe depression. She had been hospitalized twice in the previous winter due to depression. She complained of fatigue in the afternoons. She complained of being unable to lose weight in spite of the fact that she was running about 5-6 miles a week. And so Sarah and I sat down and I began going over her history and discovered in talking that she had consumed a lot of tuna fish sandwiches in college and ongoing. And it was, for her, it was an easy protein and that she really enjoyed it. So I immediately thought about mercury poisoning and its connection to depression. So what we did, we sent for a test, and I gave Sarah a supplement that goes into the tissues and grabs onto mercury, pulls it into the bloodstream where it can be filtered by the kidneys, and then it's collected in the urine. So I gave Sarah this supplement for 3 days, and she was to collect her urine on the third day. Well, she started on a Friday. On Saturday, she called me, and she said, Dr. Mittag, I'm starting to feel the same way I did before I was hospitalized the last time. And I said, wow, in a way, that's good news, because probably what's happening is the supplement is grabbing onto toxins, pulling them into your bloodstream where they have more of an effect on your brain. And so I told her to drop back on the supplement, to not take any more that day, and only to take a third of the dose on Sunday, collect her urine Sunday afternoon, which she did. She sent it off, it came back, and she was off the charts for mercury. So all of that tuna over the years, and tuna has mercury, is contaminated with mercury. All of that tuna over the years in large doses had caused this mercury poisoning, which in turn had caused her depression. So the treatment was essentially the same as the testing. I gave her the same supplement, had her take it at a low dose daily, and I saw her about 9 months later, and she was supposed to come back in 3 months. She didn't. I saw her about 9 months for a different problem, and she didn't even mention the depression or anything like that. She looked slimmer, and she had come in for shoulder pain. And so I finally stopped her and said, well, what about the depression? What about the treatment that we did? And she said, oh, no, I'm fine. Everything's great. She said, after the 3 months, I was fine, no depression. I've lost weight. My energy level came back. I no longer have the fatigue. And, and she had injured her shoulder. Second patient here is Angela. I'll speed this up a bit. Angela came in complaining of stomach cramps, ongoing for 2 years, and also inability to lose weight. She also complained of being fatigued. She said she ate a good diet. She had a big salad every day for lunch and otherwise ate lean meats, vegetables, and fruits. Talking to Angela, I decided to test her for food reactions. So we took a blood sample, sent it out, came back that she was reacting. Her immune system was reacting to romaine lettuce and also a few other things that were a regular part of her diet. And the salad that she had been eating every day for lunch was full of romaine lettuce. So she had immediately begun avoiding the foods on the list. And by the time she came in to her appointment after she got the results, the stomach cramps had been gone for a couple days, and she had already lost 8 pounds. Angela also said that her energy level had improved about 30%, and I never saw her after that. My third patient here is Mary. Mary was under the care of a rheumatologist for rheumatoid arthritis. When she came in, she wanted acupuncture to relieve the pain. She suffered general fatigue. She had swelling and aching in the joints of her hands and feet, also her knees. Her muscles were stiff, and she also had red, hot areas of skin on her legs. Her fingers and toes looked like little red sausages at times, and this is in spite of her being on Humira and prednisone, two prescriptive medications. So I initially treated her with acupuncture and some nutrients, and she did report that her pain levels improved. They dropped from 8 out of 10 to 6 out of 10, so about 20 to 30%. And she was also able to get off of the Humira, but then she didn't improve. So she was at a 6 out of 10, still a fair amount of pain. And I suggested doing a test that tested her immune system reactions to a number of foods and other things that she was being exposed to. She did the test. It was a blood sample that was sent off to a lab. When the results came back, it showed she was reacting to a number of things that she was eating and exposed to. One of the big ones was corn. And so she began avoiding everything on the list, all of the reactive foods, and that allowed her immune system to calm down. And as the immune system calmed down, so did the rheumatoid arthritis. And so within 2 to 3 weeks of stopping the reactive foods after this testing, her pain levels dropped from a 6 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10. Originally, they had been 8 out of 10. So now we're from 8 out of 10, we're down to 3 out of 10. And so in spite of weekly acupuncture, it continued at this level for several weeks. And we began to look at the things that she was reportedly reacting to. And corn was a big one. And I kept asking her, are you sure there's no way that you're being exposed to corn? And she thought of her birth control pills. And she said she had not asked her gynecologist if there was corn in the birth control pills. So she made an appointment, and sure enough, there was a filler in the birth control pills that was corn-based. And so the gynecologist found her a substitute birth control, and within 2 weeks of switching to the new birth control pills, her pain levels dropped from 3 out of 10 down to 1 to 2 out of 10. So over the course of the treatment, she had dropped from 8 out of 10 to 1 to 2 out of 10, and she was very, very happy with that. So here you have three patients, Sarah, Angela, and Mary, who have turned their health around in major ways, who have averted literally health crises using natural medicine. And my intent in showing you these case histories or telling you about them is to motivate you to do it yourself. Have the faith that you can improve your health as well. How do you do it? I have developed what I call the 9-step path to natural healing. And so here's a graphic that shows the 9-step treatment protocol that I've used very effectively with patients for all manner of health conditions. In this course, I've turned the 9-step protocol that I've used to guide my treatment of patients into a do-it-yourself or DIY format. This do-it-yourself format is proving very successful since by its very nature, the treatments used in natural or functional medicine are things that you do for yourself, things like dietary changes and lifestyle changes. While it is still helpful and sometimes mandatory to have a doctor like myself as a personal guide, in the end, still, a lot of the implementation of the natural medicine protocols comes down to you. You're the one who implements them. These 9 steps include all of the elements of natural medicine that are considered critical for rebuilding health, whether for someone with a chronic illness or for someone who seeks optimal health and longevity. What changes from one person to another is the emphasis on different steps. So one person may need a lot of detoxification because of their exposure to toxins. And another patient may need to focus on stress reduction, sleep, and normalizing gut function. But both people will still benefit from all of the steps, just to different degrees. The first level involves evaluation of the root causes of a person's health complaints. This is where we develop a treatment plan. The treatment plan determines the focus for the remaining 6 steps. The 3 steps on the second level involve recovering or stabilizing one's decline or deterioration of health. Stress, sleep disruption, and dysregulation of the digestive system and of the immune system that lives in the walls of the gut are the root causes of the body's decline. It is important that these steps are done before moving into the third level. For instance, it's not a good idea to attempt to detoxify the body before handling the destructive effects of stress, insomnia, and immune system dysregulation. The body may not be able to handle the release of toxins stored away in the tissues, and this could cause damage to the body at large. I'll explain more of these details of why it's important to do the second level before the third level as the course progresses. The third level is where the body can really start regenerating itself. At this point, a foundation has been established that allows the body to move into a regenerative state. Let me tell you a bit more about each of the 9 steps in order so that you can get a sense of the big picture that we're looking at. First, we start with an inventory of symptoms. In other words, what are the symptoms that you're experiencing? Symptoms are a great way to get a hint at what's going on internally and to establish which body systems are not functioning up to par. Under symptoms, I also include family health history and also personal health history, because health history also gives an indication of what is out of balance in the body. Then I proceed to lab testing, or functional lab tests. Functional lab tests are often different than standard medical testing. Functional medicine lab testing aims to identify underlying causes of problems. Typical functional lab tests are for things like food sensitivities, testing digestive function, or how well you digest your food, testing for the presence of chronic stealth infections, testing for toxins or toxic levels in the body, testing for nutrient deficiencies like vitamin D or omega-3 fatty acids, or testing for inflammation. Using all of the information gathered from a patient's health history and functional medicine testing, I move on to help you map out a recovery plan. Everyone's recovery plan generally walks through the same series of steps with greater or lesser emphasis on different therapeutic regimens depending on what's going on with the individual patient. That is to say, there is a shift in focus for each individual. So some steps are emphasized more than others, and that is based on their presenting symptoms, the health history, and the lab findings. Next, we climb up to level 2, to where we begin to stabilize our health. Here, our goal is to stop the deterioration of our health and to create a foundation on which our body can begin to regenerate itself. We begin with de-stressing. When you say de-stressing, people usually think of mental and emotional stress, but stress can also be physiological. For instance, sugar creates a stress response. So one way of handling stress is to deal with one's diet. Another example is chronic pain. Chronic pain is very stressful. For anyone suffering chronic pain, we need to address it and find a way to relieve the pain. And then also we need to deal with mental and emotional stresses and relieve those. Moving on to step 5, we move into restoring, rejuvenating deep sleep. Losing sleep for just one night has been shown to depress immune function by a full 50%. Chronic sleep loss cripples the body's ability to maintain a healthy brain. The brain goes through a process during deep sleep wherein it cleans itself every night. Also in deep sleep, the body secretes specific hormones such as human growth hormone, which stimulates self-repair in the body. When you're not getting good, healthy, deep sleep each and every night, these regenerative processes that are supposed to repair your body are crippled. This leads to deterioration of one's health, including deterioration of the immune system. Then we move on to the gut health, and also the balance of the immune system. We put gut health and immune health together because these two systems are intimately involved with each other and impact each other dramatically. A full 70 to 80% of the immune system actually lies within the lining of the gut, and gut issues are intertwined with immune system issues. This is particularly true in autoimmune conditions. In step 6, we look at gut function, how well we're digesting and absorbing food. Digestion and absorption have to be working well for us to get the nutrients that we need from the food that we eat. Here we also look at the health of the microbiome, the several pounds of bacteria that live in the intestines. If the microbiome is out of balance, it can be a source of chronic inflammation in the gut and can also cause leaky gut. We've seen how leaky gut can accelerate immune system dysfunction. The therapeutic regimen for healing the gut wall, restoring a healthy microbiome, and optimizing digestion has long been well established in functional medicine. We call it the 5 R's, and we implement the 5 R's in this step. The next step, step 7, is detoxification. Toxicity is a problem for all of us. We're all living in an environment that is toxic to one degree or another. So each and every one of us has toxins in our body that are interfering with our health. But when we detoxify, the detoxification process has to be a gradual, graded process. First, you have to start by preparing the body to handle toxins. Organs like the liver and the kidneys need to be prepared to handle a release of toxins from the tissues. Once the preparation for detoxification has been done, then we can use a variety of things to stimulate release of toxins from the tissues, but only when the body has been prepared to handle these toxins. Otherwise, you can do damage with releasing all of these toxins in the body. The body wisely stores toxins away. It sequesters them in specific tissues like fat. It does that to protect itself. Next, in step 8, we move into nutrition and cellular energetics. A healthy balance of fat, protein, and complex carbohydrates is the basis of a healthy diet. Researchers overwhelmingly cite the Mediterranean diet as the one that reduces risk of disease and prolongs life. Nevertheless, individual biochemistries differ, and so a person's optimal diet needs to be tailored to their needs. Consequently, diets need to be customized to the people who eat them. By cellular energetics, I mean energy production in the mitochondria. Mitochondria are the little furnaces in each and every cell in the body that burn calories and make cellular energy. Healthy cell energy production requires specific nutrients, including antioxidants. Mitochondria require a toxin-free environment in order to function correctly. We've already addressed the toxins in the detoxification step, but here we make sure that the mitochondria are getting all of the nutrients that they need for optimal cellular energy production. Then in step 9, we focus on exercise and breathing. We all understand the importance of exercise, but not everyone knows how to get the most health benefit out of exercise. In this step, I show you how to exercise to get the maximum health benefits, but still do it in a way that you can really enjoy exercising. One of the health benefits of exercise is that it improves our lung capacity. There are some important things to know about breathing and how to improve your breathing to optimize your health. I go over this important information and how to do it in step 9. This is the last step. It follows after we have de-stressed and restored healthy sleep, and follows detoxifying our tissues, restoring our gut health, restoring digestive competence, and reestablishing microbiome health, and it follows our getting on a healthy, life-promoting diet that provides our mitochondria with the nutrients they need for robust energy production. And after having set the stage for optimal health in all of the previous steps, then we can really move on to super health. Consistent, customized, age-appropriate exercise, breathing techniques, and fasting techniques can do this, but one step at a time. These are the steps that you can take one by one in your own time, rapidly or slowly, to walk a healing path from immune dysfunction, from autoimmune dysfunction, from metabolic dysfunction, from resistance to weight loss, from chronic pain syndromes. You can walk towards optimal health. Here are the program steps on a timeline. I put 12 weeks here as a rough guide, as a rough outline, but really this program is designed to be individualized or customized to individual need. So people who don't need to focus on all of the steps as much can get through the program more quickly, and other people that need to really focus on each of the steps more should take longer to get through the program, and that's appropriate as per each individual's needs. So this is a ballpark timing of the 9-step program. Level 1, the evaluation period, takes most people 1 to 4 weeks. The delay here is the time that it takes to do functional medicine testing. If you do a test, you have to collect a sample, send it to the lab, and wait for the test results to come back. If there are no functional medicine lab tests to do, this level can take as little as 2 hours because you're just filling out questionnaires. Moving up to level 2 and starting with step 4, de-stressing your body, it can take 1 to 4 weeks to get this in place. What I mean is that you begin putting some new habits into practice and make them a part of your life. This can take a week to 2 weeks to accomplish, but then the benefits continue once you've made the necessary changes. Likewise, in step 5, getting rejuvenating sleep involves adopting some new habits and implementing some therapeutic regimens. If insomnia is a big issue in one's life, there is more to do here, and it will take longer to implement all of the necessary changes. If insomnia is not an issue for you at all, then you can breeze through this step. If GI and immune system function are issues in your health, then healing the gut, restoring healthy digestive functions, and normalizing immune system function and balance is not a quick process. There are a series of progressive steps that we go through to heal the gut and/or immune system, and they take time. So depending on the severity of one's dysfunction here, this can take weeks to actually months. But once the foundation of level 2 is set in place, then you really have a strong foundation, and you can move on to level 3, the top level, with confidence. In step 7, detoxification of cells and tissues, this can be accomplished in 2 to 4 weeks for most people. And that's if the detoxification process is necessary, which it really is for most people in our day and age. It's a rare person who has a very low level of toxins. You will have determined how much time you're going to spend in detoxification in the first tier, in the first 3 steps, so you'll know exactly what to do when you get here. Then moving on to step 8, we start with fueling energy needs, meaning diet and nutrition, and here we look at the details of maintaining a healthy diet, what supplements are worth considering. As an aside, I'd like to point out that diet and nutrition haven't been ignored before this step. For instance, in step 4, de-stressing the body, there are some things that we ask you to do that you start doing to clean up your diet, to reduce the stress to your body. Also in step 5, getting rejuvenating sleep, there are dietary changes and supplements to consider for restoring good sleep. And again, in step 6, on GI and immune function, diet and supplementation come into play when remedying immune and GI function. So all through the course up into step 8 here, you have made some changes to your diet. And this step is really refining those changes to really optimize energy metabolism in your body. The goal of step 8 is to optimize your energy metabolism so that you have lots of energy and so that your body doesn't store extra energy as fat. And finally, in step 9, we begin to look at exercise regimens and at intermittent fasting and breathing techniques that can really elevate your health into the super healthy category. The issues we address here are also invaluable to anyone with chronic illness because they help give us the leverage to improve how our body is functioning on many levels. An example would be high-intensity interval training, which is a way of exercising that takes less time but is shown to improve metabolism and improve cardiovascular function much more than traditional aerobic exercise. And again, from beginning to end, the 9 steps can take roughly 3 to 6 months or longer or shorter, depending on where your health is at when you're starting out. It's difficult to nail it down really specifically because of all the variables that each of us bring to the table with our current health issues. But I would plan to invest 3 months in the process of building your health with this 9-step course or process. Having said that, remember that this course is designed to be in your timing. So it's not supposed to be an additional chore or project that you have to labor through or push yourself through. It's designed to get results each and every step of the way. So by the time you complete step 4, you're experiencing some benefit that motivates you to start step 5. And after step 5, you're experiencing even more benefit, feeling more rested, better energy, and more relaxed all of the time. And those improvements propel you on to the next step that is appropriate for you and your health situation. In the previous slide, I showed all of the 9 steps along a step-by-step timeline. And in reality, there is an overlapping of the steps. This slide is a more accurate representation of the course implementation. You can see on the left that the evaluation process is allotted 1 week. We start the de-stress step, and move on to step 5, which focuses on getting optimally healthy sleep. At the same time that we're doing the de-stress and sleep steps, we're also beginning to prepare for detoxification by eliminating a number of foods from the diet. Then we proceed to healing the gut and balancing the immune system in step 6, followed by the actual detoxification process. Then in the last 2 steps, we focus on optimizing diet and intermittent fasting in step 8, and by exercise and breathing techniques for better metabolism in step 9. All of this is explained in detail step by step in the course, so there's no confusion as to what to do next. Again, this timeline shows the course as a 12-week process. Nevertheless, the time that it takes you to go through the course may vary. I've set up the program so that you can go through all of the 9 steps in 12 weeks. That's the complete program, doing all of the steps. Depending on your health history and your current health status, you may not need to do all of the steps, and this will make the program shorter for you. Or if you have more serious health issues that you're dealing with, it may be necessary for you to take more time with each of the steps, and so the program will take longer than 12 weeks to complete. Either way, the program is set up to work no matter how long it takes for you to get through it. What does the program actually do? There are many, many ways in which this program rebuilds one's health. If I tried to list everything here, it would be a very long list. But in general terms, here are some of the things that the 9-step program does. These are the goals of the program and the results that accrue when you go through the full program. The program restores nervous system, endocrine system, and immune system balance. It cleans out the toxins that are poisoning cells and disrupting metabolism and causing disease. It nourishes the cells, tissues, and organs for optimal health and longevity, and it reduces biological age. There is a workbook that goes with the 9-step program. The workbook is required reading for success. In the video lessons, I will direct you to different parts of the workbook. And the workbook is your resource for special information. It's where you'll find the evaluation questionnaires, and it also has short homework assignments. The workbook is not something that you'll sit down and read cover to cover. You'll use it as a resource to complement the information that is delivered primarily in video form in the online course. And that's a quick summary of the course, Healthier with Natural Medicine in 9 Steps. This course shows you how to use natural or functional medicine to remedy chronic illness and maintain optimal health. The course is appropriate for anyone who wants to use natural medicine to help autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's or rheumatoid arthritis, or metabolic conditions like obesity, insulin resistance, and resistance to weight loss, and many other health conditions, chronic health conditions. My message is to focus on your goal and embrace this process and count on getting results. Looking back, 12 weeks will have been a small speck of time, no time at all to have spent, when you see how much you have improved your health and your energy levels. And not only that, you will have gained invaluable tools and habits that will profit you, your health, and your longevity for years to come.